It's another day of SIP installation. It's probably gonna be about 70 degrees today and slightly overcast now, but I think we're gonna have a clear blue sky day. We have more helping hands today, which we're extremely appreciative of, and I think we're gonna make some awesome progress. Today our first priority is to install the entire west wall. When we install a wall at the advice of Shelter Institute, we start from one side and we work our way to the other side, but because SIPs have the tendency to grow like many other building materials, when you put them together there might be like an 1/8 inch gap between them. Sometimes the splines bottom out or what have you, so Shelter Institute actually recommended that we hold the SIPs off an inch so that the last panel on every wall is an inch shorter. So in theory, if our wall grows by an inch, which they said is very possible and happens most of the time, in theory, we should end up flush. So far, this has worked out very well. On the first wall we installed, the north wall, we actually ended up exactly where we needed to be. But in yesterday's case, we've gotten our system to be so efficient that we really don't have any gaps between the panels because, if you remember, we've been ripping the 4-inch splines down to 3.5-inch splines so that they're no longer bottoming out. So yesterday, we actually came up about an inch short. Is this a problem? It's not, because our SIPs are not structural. Our frame is structural. The SIPs are really just an envelope for the outside of the house. So it's okay to come up an inch short because that inch falls over a post, and all we need to do is foam in that inch gap between the end of the SIP and the start of the other wall. So today we're gonna start with a 4-foot section of wall, and then we have maybe, it looks like a 2-foot 9-inch section, and then we have our first window, which is the window in the mudroom. And then we have an inlet on these 4 sides here of the panels where we're gonna put 2x lumber to frame the window in. Every panel attaches to every other panel with OSB splines on both the front and the back. We apply screws to pretty much the entire perimeter of every single panel. But those little screws we've been putting in that go along the perimeter, those don't attach the SIP to the timber frame. Our giant lag screws do. So our lag screws are 9-inch on center along the bottom and along the top. And really any place where the SIP intersects a timber. While I'm at it, I want to answer a few questions that I've seen on social media that people have about these SIPs. How thick are they? They're a full 8 inches. Our roof panels are not the same thickness. They're actually 12 inches. Holy cow. So we are gonna have one heck of an insulated house. And the last thing I want to address right now, drywall. Initially, Shelter Institute recommended that we install the drywall on the frame before we put the panels up because it's just more efficient. However, because we don't really know when our roof panels are gonna arrive, it is spring, we've had a lot of rain, we still have moisture in the forecast, so all things considered, Shelter Institute agreed that it's better to just add furring strips so that we could slide the drywall in later. Oh yeah, and you know all that foam that we've been like cutting out with a spade bit and a drill? Shelter Institute recommends that we do that to get a really positive seal when the 2 panels butt together so there isn't an air gap. So because there really isn't space to foam in there, if there's only like an 1/8 inch gap, we're creating our own void, and then we're creating holes every 12 inches on the outside of the panel so that we can stick a foam gun into that void and fill it with foam, and that's just gonna make our house even more airtight. And on that note, I think it's time to get to work today. Where did this piece come from? Love you, Bob.
Well, we finished our first bucket of screws. I don't know how many that is, a few thousand at least.
time to employ the bar clamps. Ready, Jesse?
Yeah.
I feel like this wall's gonna make things get really real, because from here we can still see the whole frame.
Yep. So Justin's running the Greydall, which is super helpful. He's got lots of experience on telehandlers, so he knows exactly the language that we're using for tilting the cab and boom out and forks down. What's nice about today is we pretty much have like really clear access to the building. Yesterday we were fighting the tree, and then it's really uneven ground on the other side of the house. With the Greydall can handle it because it's got big tires and it's got the tilt cab, so it wasn't really a problem necessarily, but it definitely was like narrow getting in there. Today, like we have full access, which is super sweet. And then our prep area is right here, so hopefully we can minimize picking up and carrying. Yesterday, I think we got really tired just because we had to carry these panels like around and up the side of the hill again. Kind of sucked. So hopefully that'll work out good. And then Brian has been kind of helping me. Once it gets onto the shoe, I'm usually up in the loft, and I've got this kind of tagline or whatever, and I'm just pulling it close to the building, and then we kind of just work together as a team to get the tagline off. But then Justin comes around behind with the forklift and keeps the panel from falling out. So he just kind of moves the forks out behind the panel, so there's kind of like extra insurance. So if we need to lean the panel out to take screws out or something, and that's what we perfected yesterday. Today it's going to be really important because we're kind of starting close to the ground on the north side, but as we go toward the south, it's going to get higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
So we'll have to kind of work on that strategy a little bit. We were kind of spoiled yesterday because we were close to the ground, and the farther north we went, got closer to the ground. That's it. That's the 90-second how to install SIP strategy. Green's mine, right?
What?
Wait,
this is mine. You had the 20.
Okay.
I'm glad we have our priorities straight as the first panel's going up.
Right, boom in a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna stabilize. I'm letting go, so it's gonna want to go forward.
Got that strap?
Yep.
I don't have a battery.
Battery, get the battery.
I don't get Loctite in my eye.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That did suck.
Let's do that differently.
Come down over here.
Crazy. Why don't I check the level up here too? I'm super happy right there.
Right there.
Six.
Nice work, love.
Justin. U.S.T.I.N. Justin.
Next up, we have the window and the spare bedroom. So we have a panel on top and a panel on bottom.
We are flying. Well, time is flying, and we're doing pretty good. So far, everything's going really smooth, which is great. It feels like yesterday was maybe the day where we worked a lot of the kinks out. So we're flying through the second, I guess it'd be 2/3 of the wall. We're gonna work really hard on getting prepped because our friends need to go home. They've got a long drive to get back and they've got to work tomorrow. So we're just getting started on the office window here. We've got an upper panel, but we'll put that in later. We're gonna work really hard down here on the ground and basically try to prep every last panel to finish out this wall. And then all of us can celebrate and work together to finish the assembly. There's actually a lot of windows coming up. There's 3 windows there in the living room, and we've got a big window there in the office. So hopefully the install will go smooth and we'll have everybody out here at a decent hour. I mean, unless you guys want to quit now.
No way.
Just go golfing. I heard there's a new go-kart track in town. Do you guys want to hit that?
Yeah, he's driving the Great All.
He's actually, we were thinking about, since we paid so much money for the Great All, about just driving it around town. All right, everybody in the Great All, let's go to pizza. Oh, look who decided to come out. Bugaboo, where are you going? Are you gonna go check out the house?
Well, we just finished prepping maybe the rest of the wall, or maybe we're a couple of panels short. Either way, we just kicked some major butt. We just had a small snack break. Whew, we're making good time, I could say that. And would you look at that? This looks more like a house than a timber frame.
Little Humpty Dumpty's getting put back together. Everybody will be really happy.
Oh no, I know that. I'm just saying, like, when we put siding
We'll
on.
have to take it out. Yeah, we'll put a spline up here. So this will hold that together, but I just wanted to put adhesive on it so it'll start to adhere.
They're deceptively heavy when they get all their hardware in.
Yeah.
Let's go down, maybe. We finally forgot to add splines. Justin caught it. Work it, work it.
Well, you need that down here.
You got one
I'll
up there?
hold it up there. No,
Okay.
but I'll have you put a screw in and pass that up.
I'm liking our new backdrop, Jesse.
Oh my gosh, right? We told them it was going to be the last time they'd ever see the frame. They didn't believe us. Oh, you okay? Yeah. One more inch. You good? Go ahead and put a screw in.
Okay. 1, 2.
This is 143 up on top.
Oh, really? Whew.
So which one's wrong?
I think we got the
143 is wrong.
Okay.
I think it's the panel right behind Alyssa.
That's the right one.
Watch your screw in your leg there. Okay, I'm going up. Okay, you're in. You okay?
Yeah. You got it?
Okay.
All right, everyone, let's go have a snack. Everyone but Justin. Holy cow.
Wow. Starting to feel more like the house.
These windows are kind of a lot bigger than I envisioned.
Beautiful. Wait for this man, one more scoop of beef stew. Because Brian thought it would be a good idea to eat his pudding first. We're all gonna eat vegetables for the week.
Wait, my plan worked.
And let's all thank Brian for eating his pudding first. Hey.
Except I'd be like,
Hi, how's it going? Guys, we did it. We got the west wall on. Wow, doesn't it look good? Isn't that crazy? It took everybody's best effort today. Everybody was pretty tired this morning. Do not blame anybody. I'm sure everyone went home last night and just passed out. But we did it. Great teamwork. Everybody was safe. And we had no major issues with any of the panels. We did make some mistakes. We had some confusion, but everybody really was doing their best work today. And I guess it does take about 7 hours for us to get one of those walls on. But that's it. That's what we've been waiting for 6 months. Can you believe it? It looks really good. We're super stoked. So, what to do now? Well, Brian and Kimberly headed home. We wish them a safe trip. This coming week is just going to be ballistic. I've got some flights scheduled this week. We've got some good weather, which means it's time to hustle on the house. Alyssa and I have got our work cut out for us. We've got a bunch of prep work to do in the next coming days. But I think we've got a bunch of life to catch up on. We're behind on laundry, we're behind on video, and we're really far behind on sleep. Our garage door company came the other day, and they have our doors in. We're super excited to get them installed, but there's an issue with these 4 panels. We've already mentioned that. We've got to get that taken care of. So maybe this week, Alyssa and I can work together, get those panels trimmed down, get our insulated headers built that will become the top of the garage here. And then we can spend a lot of time probably prepping panels on the ground. And then Justin's volunteered to come back. We'll probably rent the Great All again, maybe this coming weekend, something like that. And we can get our south living level wall built. And then we can strew all these gable panels out across the property. That'll leave us with that pile and the pile behind me here. We can spread them out like crazy and get all those panels prepped. And then hopefully in the matter of maybe a weekend, something like that, 2 days or so, we can get all the gables built. We're expecting to hear from our SIP company in the next couple of days, something like that, to let us know that our roof panels are ready and they'll be on their way, which is good timing. Those are going to be a whole different deal. We've got to do a lot of prep just so we can get up in the loft and have good access to those panels. But we're excited. Ooh, the Mad Cook is in here brewing up something special. Thanks for all your work today, love.
you too, man, we rocked it.
Yeah, and in case we didn't mention it already, we are very appreciative to everyone else who's helped this weekend.
Yeah.
We had a banging weekend. All right, we'll wait for dinner.
Be ready in a jiffy, maybe 2 minutes.